What's up everybody and welcome to our Kinstretch class. Today we are going to need 2 yoga blocks, a lacrosse, tennis ball or similar shaped ball, and 2 dowels. We will be able to take this class if you don't have these tools, but it will enhance the experience of the class. And if you don't have them, I would invest in them so you have them for future classes. Today is going to be primarily focused on the hips. The way our demonstration will work is I will explain the move we're doing and walk through 1 rep, and then I'll coach us through the active reps, and you'll know when that is. That's when you'll join in. You'll stay in that position once we finish, and I'll coach how we move to the next spot. So bear with me through those transition periods. You can use it as a time to grab water or shift around, do anything you need. Otherwise, let's get started. So this is a global tension class. So as we go through our joint isolations and joint mobilities, we're gonna need to create global tension or irradiation. So we're gonna go over that now. Global tension looks like squeezing the fists together until the veins start to pop. We roll the shoulders back, we engage the core, we squeeze the butt, pull the ground apart. So now you can feel that whole body starting to turn on and engage. We're gonna talk about that global tension, or I will ask it from you 60, 80%, 100%. So we're gonna go through a scaling ramp to practice, and then I'll throw it in throughout the session to add a challenge. So let's start off by making 20% tension. That's feeling the muscles contract, but nothing too serious, ramping up to 40%. 50% starting to squeeze, 60% feel the heat starting to build in the body, 60%, 70%, 80% really squeezing now, 90 digging in, 100, you can feel that breast start to shorten, that chest tighten and relax. Okay, that is global tension. We'll use it in different positions to add isolation or challenge. Okay, let's start with cars. So we're gonna stand tall, we're in the neck first. We're gonna create about 40 to 50% global tension, and then bring the chin down to chest as far as I can. Then I'm gonna scrape the chin along the collarbone, looking over to that right side until we can't rotate to the right. Drop the right ear behind the shoulder, looking up towards the ceiling, lifting out of the shoulders, rotating chin to shoulder on the left side, scrape chin along the left collarbone back to center, and reversing. Scrape the chin along the collarbone over to the left. Drop the left ear, circling around, looking at the ceiling, chin to shoulder on that right side, and scrape along the collarbone. That's 1, we're doing 3. Scrape the chin along the collarbone, drop that right ear behind the shoulder, circling around, looking at the ceiling. Chin comes to shoulder, and we scrape along the collarbone. Heading back over to that left side, chin to shoulder, dropping left ear behind the shoulder, looking up at the ceiling, chin to shoulder on the right side, and scrape along the collarbone. That is 2, last rep. Scraping along the collarbone to that right side, dropping the right ear behind the right shoulder, looking up towards the ceiling, chin to shoulder on the left side, and scrape 1 more half here. Chin over to that left side, dropping left ear, looking at the ceiling, scanning, chin to shoulder, and scrape. Next, we're gonna go shoulder blades. So we're gonna find our hands by our sides. Don't let the arms rotate front and back, just up and down on the sides of the pants. So we're gonna start by pressing the shoulders down, rounding forward, pulling up, squeezing back, and pressing down. Just like that. Join me if you haven't now. Pressing down and forward, up and forward, up and back, down and back. That's 1. Reverse direction, squeezing up and back, up and forward, down and forward, down and back. 1 that direction. Down and forward, up and forward, up and back, down and back. Reverse, up and back, up and forward, down and forward, down and back. That's 2 each direction. 1 more. Down and forward, up and forward, up and back, down and back. Reverse, up and back, up and forward, down and forward, down and back. Awesome. Next, moving into the shoulder. I'm gonna demonstrate this one to cover the basics. We're gonna start by externally rotating the arm, engaging the core 50 to 60% irradiation. We bring the arm up and across. So I'm trying to externally rotate that arm the entire time as it comes in front of me. Once I get up overhead and you hit a lockout position, then we're gonna transition to internally internal rotation, it should feel the natural direction of where that arm wants to go. From here, I'm trying to squeeze the arm back behind me and continuing to internally rotate as much as I can. Top of the hand will come by the leg. We lift up and back, externally rotate, hit that top position, and finish. Okay, if you didn't join me there or you're not doing them, we'll start now. In that right arm, externally rotate 50 to 60% tension. Bring that arm up and in. As much external rotation as you can. Arms up overhead, and we transition internal. Feel it rotating all the way down in the socket. Squeeze the shoulder blade back and behind you. Top of the hand should come by the leg. Lifting up and back, you hit a lockout position, and then externally rotate. It should feel like the natural direction to rotate, and coming across. That is one. We have two more. Keep that tension building in the core, in the hand of the non-working arm, up and overhead. Internal rotation, squeeze the arm behind us, lifting up and back, external rotation, overhead, and finish. That is two. One more. Up, overhead, hit that internal rotation, squeeze the arm behind us, top of the hand by the leg, lift up and back, external rotation, palm faces behind, and come across. Good. Other side now. We know where we're going, so we're going to jump right into it. Create that tension, 50 to 60%. You can even ramp it up to 70% if you want some added challenge and spice. Externally rotate, come up and in, palm faces back behind us, shoulder blade or shoulder kind of locks out right there. We go internal rotation, that natural direction it should feel. Squeezing the shoulder blade and the arm back behind us. Keep internally rotating, top of the hand should come right by the leg. Lift up and back, you lock out, external rotation, palm faces now up and behind us when we hit that overhead position. Coming down and across, that is one. Let's continue on. Externally rotating, we hit the lockout position overhead, internal rotation, squeeze the arm, squeeze the butt, top of the hand comes by the leg, up and back, external rotation, we hit the top position and finish that rep. That is two. One more. Up, palm faces back, internal rotation, top of the hand comes right by the leg, lift up and back, we lock out, squeeze that arm around behind us, top of the hand faces back wall, and we finish. That is three. Awesome. Now we're going to move on to the spine. So on the spine, we're going to stand with our legs wide, and we're going to tuck the tailbone underneath us. So we notice how we can tilt forward and back. You can go ahead and try this now. So imagine that pelvis is a bucket. We can dump water out the front, dump water out the back. We're going to use that as we do our spine car. So we're going to start with flexion and extension. So I'm going to tuck that tailbone, and then I'm just going to round as far forward as I can. I'm going to hold this position, and then I'm going to dump water out the front, and then pull the chest up into extension. We're going to do three of those. Tuck the tailbone, round through the spine, squeeze the core, and then push the butt back, dump water out the front, extend, tuck, and pause here in that flexion. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We're going to go into a spine car. So rotating over to the right, dropping the right shoulder, and as I drop the right shoulder, I dump water out the front of the pelvis, looking up at the ceiling, circling around over to the left side, dump water out the back, tuck the pelvis, and round forward. That's a half rep, okay? So if you didn't jump in with me, let's go. We round forward, we rotate over to the right, drop that right shoulder, push the hips back, dump the pelvis, water out the front, circling around, looking at the ceiling, rotate over to the left, tuck the pelvis, and round forward. That's half rep. Over to the left now. As I rotate to the left, think of pushing that left hip forward to fight yourself with that global tension or radiation. Circling around, rotating to the right, tuck the hips. That's one rep. Rotating over to the right, dump the water out the front, circling around, looking at the ceiling, rotate over to the left, tuck the pelvis, and round. That is half. Over to the left, tuck, untuck the pelvis, rotate over to the right, tuck, and round. That is two. We have one more here. Over to that right side, dropping that right shoulder, leaning to that right side, extending heart point straight up at the ceiling, rotate over to the left, tuck the hips, and round. Last half. Over to the left, drop that shoulder, arch the back, rotate over to the right, tuck the hips, and round. Awesome. From here, we're gonna head onto the ground for the last bit. We are actually gonna then go ankles, knees, and finish with the hips. So on the ankle, you're gonna grab one of your yoga blocks. You're gonna pop the leg up, okay? So we're gonna lock the knee so the leg is completely straight, and we're gonna create a 60 to 70% global tension through that leg. Then I'm gonna take an ankle circle, trying to carve out as big and as much space as possible without letting that leg rotate side to side. So the quality of contraction and squeeze needs to be higher in the quad than what you're using in the ankle. So squeeze that quad. We're gonna circle all the way around. We're gonna do 3 in each direction. Pulling internally, toes comes up towards the shin. 3 one direction, and then we'll switch. Big circle all the way around, pulling up towards the shin. 1 more. Circling around, carving as big of a circle as you can get, and we will reverse. Over to that inside, gas pedal, pushing forward, head over to the outside, pull the toe towards the shin, that's 1, continue on, over to the right, pressing that toe forward, over to the left, pull up, that is 2, 1 more all the way around, big circle, pull up, that is 3. Now we're gonna switch legs. Okay, on the opposite leg now, lock that quad, 60 to 70% irradiation, pretty strong squeeze there, and we're gonna go. I like to think if I'm making brownies and there's some on the edge of the bowl, I'm trying to scrape every last bit of that brownie mix, getting everything I can out of it, circling around for 3, that is 1, pressing down, reaching for a bit more, 2, and 3. We will reverse. Heading to the inside, gas pedal, flooring it around over to that outside corner, pulling toe up towards shin, that's 1. That is 2. All the way around, that is 3. Awesome. We're gonna head into the knees now. I'm gonna hug this, we'll start on the left side. We'll hug that left leg all the way up into the chest. Then we're gonna flex the toe towards the shin. And what we're trying to do here is pivot right at this knee joint. So I'm gonna rotate the toe in, but what I'm actually watching is the shin. So imagine there's a rod running down the foot and we're rotating side to side. So going nice and slow, trying to squeeze as much rotation as you can out of each one. We'll take about 10 on each side. So you can kind of take these at your own pace. Slower the better, and the bigger squeeze, the better. Awesome. Really feeling that articulation, that movement in the joint. Go ahead and do 1 more, and we are gonna switch. So now on the other side, drive that heel into the ground, hug the leg into the chest, and then we're gonna rotate. The shin should be the primary mover, and you're welcome to bring that hand onto the shin and help that movement as well. We're gonna do about 10 here, 2, 3, continue on. Slowing it down, trying to get as much movement out of each articulation of the joint. Let's go 2 more. Perfect. And now we are moving into the hips. So for the hips, we are gonna grab our ball. If you don't have a ball, that is okay. You can just imagine you do, but if you do have the ball, we're gonna put it in the pit of the knee and we're gonna squeeze it. So we're gonna start in a tabletop position, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and we're squeezing that ball. We're gonna go into a hip car. So the idea of the ball is it keeps you really active in the hamstring. From here, I'm gonna press back and up. I open out to the side. So the foot drops down towards the midline, the knee goes out to the side. I'm gonna circle around, try and touch it to the forearm, and then we set it down, we work it the other way. So lift up towards the forearm, out to the side, circle around like you're drawing a circle with the knee on the ground. Knee taps the ground, we press up, external rotation, circling all the way around, knee comes to forearm, we work it back, circling around, knee sets down. Notice how I'm keeping my back nice and flat, abs in. So imagine there's a cup on your back, or if you want to get spicy, you can put a yoga block, keep you really honest on that lower back. We go up, we'll do 1 more rep. out to the side, circling around and tapping that knee, working backwards, circling around and set it down. Awesome. Now we have to do the other side. I'm just going to keep that yoga block right on my low back. Switching the knee with the ball in tabletop. We're going to bring the knee up to forearm, out to the side, pressing that knee up to the ceiling, abs suck in, circle around, leg comes right by, supporting right leg, knee to forearm, pressing back as far as I can, external rotation, the foot drops to midline, the knee goes out wide, knee pulls all the way to forearm. Good, that is one, circling around, tapping the ground and working back, external rotation, drop the foot, pull the knee wide. That is two, one more rep, circling around, knee taps down, oh, lost the ball, and we will finish up right there. Okay, from here, we are gonna move into hip extension lift off. So I'm in my tabletop position. We're gonna keep the block on our low back. If you don't have it on your low back, I want you to put it there now. I'm gonna extend, I'll kick my props out there. I'm gonna extend my leg as far as I can out, and I'm gonna lock my knee, okay? Abs suck in. This is gonna go at a 80% irradiation. So really squeezing, pressing that ground away, belly button sucking in, and then I'm gonna try and lift this leg without any movement through the core or that yoga block as high as I can, and I'm gonna set it down. We're gonna do 10 of these lifts, okay? I'm gonna engage that core, squeeze 80% irradiation, big tension. I'm gonna squeeze up as high as I can. 3, 2, 1, set it down. That is 2, we're doing 10 with that 3-second hold. Lifting up, squeeze, 3, 2, 1, that is 3, up, squeeze, 3, 2, 1, 4, up, squeeze, 3, 2, 1, 5, up, and squeeze, 3, 2, 1, 6. You should feel that hamstring starting to cook. Squeezing up, abs sucking in, 3, 2, 1, good, 5, up, squeeze, 3, 2, 1, 6, up, 3, 2, 1, 7, up, 3, 2, 1, 8, up, 3, 2, 1, 9, one more, up, 3, 2, 1, 10, and set it down. Okay, now we are gonna go into the other side. I'm gonna move on to my fists. My wrists are not liking that long time on that flexion. So extending leg out, abs sucking in. We're gonna go 10 of these with that 3-second lift. After we finish this, we'll take a quick drink. So locking that back leg, building that tension up to 80%, and then squeezing that hamstring and that butt, no movement through the core, abs sucking in, 3, 2, 1, set it down and lift, squeeze, 3, 2, 1, 2, squeeze high as you can, 2, 1, 3, lift, 3, 2, 1, 4, check in with that irradiation, 80% or higher, 3, 2, 1, 5, up, 3, 2, 1, 6, down, up, 3, 2, 1, 7, up, 3, 2, 1, 8, good, 2 more, up and squeeze, 3, 2, 1, 9, last rep here, up, squeeze, 3, 2, 1, and 10, set it down. Awesome, we're gonna take a quick breather here. I'm gonna grab a drink and set that block down. And we are gonna move on. So now we're gonna transition from this tabletop into a half kneeling. So what I'm gonna do is use a car to get there. So let's start on that right side. I'm gonna pick the right knee up off the ground. I'm gonna push back into that hip extension, circle around, and I'm trying to get my foot right up by my hand. I'm gonna land right up by my hand, and then with core engagement, I'm gonna pull myself up into that half kneeling position. So now we're in that half kneeling position. here is where the sticks can come into play. So if you need those, or if you have those sticks, go ahead and grab them. So I'm gonna start in the half kneeling position. Now what I'm gonna do is tuck my pelvis. I'm gonna demo first, then we'll jump in on the reps. I'm gonna try and pull the ground together like I'm wrinkling the carpet. So this front foot's pulling in, this back knee is pulling forward, and then I'm gonna try and rip the ground apart. So now that foot travels forward and that knee goes back. So this is gonna be a Pales Rails effort. We're gonna go 3 reps, 10 seconds of pulling, 10 seconds of ripping with no rest straight through. This irradiation is gonna be at 80% or higher. So we're gonna build a lot of tension in that core, a lot of tension through the glutes and pressing down into the sticks. Me personally, I'm gonna go about 90, 95%. So I'm really gonna turn up the dial here for the next minute. Starting tall, tucking the pelvis, we're gonna work. Now try and wrinkle that floor and pulling, driving, pulling in, feeling that floor wrinkling beneath you. You should feel this front hip flexor firing, this hamstring pulling, and this calf. 3, 2, 1, and rip apart. Pull that ground apart, squeezing that back glute. Now the power transitions to the back side of this leg and the top of this leg. 3, 2, and we're transitioning. Pull together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rip apart. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last rep on each. Pull together as much tension, as much power as you have. Dig into that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rip apart. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Good work, y'all. Now we're gonna set those sticks aside. If you like them for balance, you can use them. I'm gonna show us what we're gonna do next. We're gonna be driving out of this back leg. I'm gonna imagine pushing the ground away to get this really deep stretch, abs sucking in, trying to keep the back straight. And then I'm gonna think pulling that knee forward to come up. So we're gonna do a kinetic stretch. I'm pushing this ground away, 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 as deep as you can get without arching the back. And then I'm gonna pull myself forward. We're gonna do 5 of those. Push the ground away as deep as you can, abs in, and then pull the ground forward. That's 1. Push the ground away and pull the ground forward, building tension. Push the ground away, pull the ground forward. 1 more. Push the ground away, deep, 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 abs in, and pull forward. Now, we're gonna do all that on the other side. The hands come down. I'm gonna take that right foot. I'm gonna hover, circle around using that hip car. That knee lands, and we're gonna transition now, lifting that left leg, circling around using that half kneeling hip car. Land and pull yourself up. We are now performing the Pales Rails on the other side. So I am up tall, my core is engaged. I tuck the pelvis underneath me, and we're gonna do the pull and rip, okay? 10 seconds of each. This is a full minute of work, 3 total reps. Tucking that pelvis, pull together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Building tension in the core and rip the ground apart. 10, 9, 8, 7. Abs are in tight, glutes squeezing. 3, 2, 1. Pull together. Start a second rep. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rip apart. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last rep. Pull together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rip apart. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. Now after that hip extension Pales Rails, you can set the sticks down or you can use them for a little bit of balance. The next one is gonna be that same kinetic stretch. So I'm gonna use the same power that I was using in the Pales Rails to get into this kinetic stretch. So I'm gonna push the ground away as deep as I can, abs are sucking in, and I'm gonna pull the ground towards us. I'm gonna push the ground away and I'm gonna pull the ground towards us. Let's call that 1. If you joined in right there, we've got 3 more. Push the ground away, build, 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 and then dig and pull the ground forward. Push the ground away, and then pull deep in that hip flexor. You should feel it forward. 1 more, push the ground away, and pull the ground forward. From here, we're gonna do an iso movement path. So I'm gonna start by pivoting this back leg. I'm gonna demo first and then you can join in. I'm gonna pivot on that back leg about 90 degrees. I'm gonna take my butt, I'm gonna sit down right on the heel and roll into a seat. From here, I'll hover the foot and land in a figure 4. So we will take this together. I'm up top here. I'm gonna pivot or lift the foot, pivot on that knee 90 degrees, build tension in the core, slowly pull yourself down into this position. That butt's gonna make contact with the ground. Hands come by our side, hover foot, and land in figure 4. So now we are in figure 4. I'm gonna pivot so you can see me. I'm gonna start with a pails rails effort of hip flexion. Demo first and then you'll jump in. So I'm gonna start by slightly bending this knee and I'm gonna pull into the ground. So I'm trying to imprint my heel into the ground. That's my pails effort, trying to drive into that ground. My rails effort is gonna be locking that knee and trying to pull this up as high as I can. So if that's really challenging for you, the further you lean back, the easier it will be because that hip joint is less closed or at an acute angle. So the further you lean forward, the harder it will be. The further you lean back, the easier it will be to lift. But wherever we choose to work from, we're gonna try and stay there. So I don't wanna lean forward and back between my pails and rails effort. So what I don't wanna do would look like this. I'm pushing and then I'm lifting like this. I'm gonna pick my middle ground here. I'm gonna bend that knee. I'm gonna drive my heel into the ground, and then I'm gonna rails and I'm gonna pull up, squeezing that quad, squeezing that core. Okay, if you haven't started, let's start now. I'm gonna slightly bend that knee. We're on the left side here, and I'm gonna dig that heel into the ground for 10, 9, we have 3 reps, 8, 7, 6, 5, core's engaged, sitting up tall, 3, 2, 1, lock that knee and hover as high as you can without moving that torso. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set it down. Is okay. If that quad does cramp a little bit, just back off, maybe 5 to 10% on the intensity. We're gonna go into rep number 2, bending that knee, driving down into the ground. 10, 9, 8, you should feel that hamstring and calf really firing up. 5, 4, 3, get ready, engage the core, hover and squeeze the quad, lift the heel. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, I can feel that shake, fight through it. 3, 2, 1, and set it down. Beautiful. One last rep here. This is gonna be our hardest one. So if you have anything left in the tank, we're gonna ramp it up here. Bending that knee, driving heel down. I'm going 90%. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, lock that knee and hover. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Awesome. We're gonna finish up. We have just one more on this side, and then we'll take a pause, get a drink, and continue on. So the next one is gonna be a passive range hold. It's gonna look like this. I'm gonna lean as far forward as I can, and then I'm gonna try and do that rails effort, which is that lifting, which I'm gonna lean so far forward I can't get that foot up, and then I'm gonna slowly press up and try and keep this angle the same. So I'm gonna lean forward, I pull up and try and not let this angle change in the chest, okay? So we're gonna do 3 reps. It's gonna be a 10-second hold up top. Hop in with me. We rock forward, lock the knee out, pull into rails, try and get the shin up to the face, the quad to the chest, and then rock it back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and let it down. That is 1, 2 more. Rocking forward, pull that shin up and rock it back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We have one more. Rocking forward, locking that knee, pulling up, and rock it back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Fight that cramp. 2, and set it down. All right, so that left foot's in front. If you need, we'll grab a quick drink if it's close by. We'll get going in just a second. Whew. As a burner, my quads are feeling it. Okay, now we are going to transfer from one side to the other. So we're going to use another ISO-MP, an isometric movement path. So I'm going to start by doing that hover. I'm demoing first, and then we'll hop in. I'm going to hover. I'm going to bend this knee, pull the knee up into the armpit, and I'm going to land with the soles of my feet together. Okay, so let's do it together. If you didn't, just do it with me. We hover that foot up. Knee comes up and out to the side, soles of the feet touch, and we land. From here, we are going to do a pails rails in butterfly. So if you're in this position and your hips are screaming at you, you feel like you're rounded forward and you're stuck, a really great option is to put yourself up on a block. So you can grab a block. If you don't have a block, you can also use like a couch cushion, something like that. And that is going to lessen the intensity on the hips. So I'll do my reps from here today. I like using the block quite a bit. What this is going to look like, I'll demo first, then we'll hop in for 3 reps. I'm going to grab my shins, and then I'm going to take my elbows, and I'm going to push my outer leg down to the ground as much as possible, okay? So I'm going to push down as much as I can, and then I'm going to do a pails effort trying to close my knees, okay? So I'm trying to pull up into my elbows. That's going to be my pails effort. And then my rails is going to be driving down to the ground. So I'm going to grab onto those shins. I'm going to push down to the ground as much as I can. Okay, so we're going to get set up here. Let me adjust my mic. In that butterfly, grab onto the shins, take the elbows in, sit up tall, try and get that spine straight and that core engaged. I'm going to go at about 80% and then build each rep, 80, 90, 100. You go at your intensities. You could do 60, 70, 80, wherever you're at and what you want to give today. Grabbing that shin, but this should be the lightest of the 3 and build from here. Grab the shins, take the elbows, push into the inner thighs, and then try and clamp together. Feel it immediately shoot through the groin. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and push down to the ground. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and rest. Awesome, that's 1, 2 more. So now building maybe about 10% on this next effort, grabbing those shins, elbows push into the inner thigh, and clamp together. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. We have one more. This is going to be our highest intensity. Right here, we grab those shins, take the elbows, put them into the side, and clamp for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and drive down as much power as you can. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. From here, we are going to slip that block out from under us, and we're going to transition to figure 4 on the other side. So I'll demo once, and then we'll take it together. I'm going to lean forward. I'm going to engage my core, maybe rock to the side just a little bit, but just as little as I need. I'm going to lift this foot, and I'm just going to kick it straight out. That's the opposite side for me. It's the right. If you're joining with me or following on the same side as me, it's the right side. I'm going to put my hands behind me. I'm going to hover that foot. I'm going to kick that foot straight out, and then I'm going to bring this left one in a little bit more. Now we are in our pails rails effort on this right leg. So again, building up about 10% each rep. So I'm going to start at 80, 90, 100. I'm going to give it my all max effort on that last one. It's 10 seconds on each effort. You know this. We've done it on the other side. Let's go ahead and get into it. Bend those knees. Drive that heel into the ground. Sitting up tall, cores engaged. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, lock that knee and hover. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set it down. That is 1. Building 10% off that last rep. Bend that knee, drive down into the ground, push hard. 9, 8, feel that hamstring, that whole back of the leg, that calf light up. 5, 4, 3, 2, lock that knee and hover. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set it down as gently and as softly as you can. Last rep, we're cranking the dial here, giving another 10%, bending that knee, driving down, go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hover. 10, 9, 8, get as high as you can, as much as you can get. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set it down. Beautiful job there. Take a breath. Whew. I'm getting sore right there along with y'all, guys. This is intense. We're gonna go our passive range lift off next. I'm gonna hinge as far forward as I can, then I'm gonna try and pull that shin up, that rails effort, pulling that quad up to the chest. I'm trying to keep this angle as acute or as closed as possible. I'm gonna rock forward, pull that shin up, and then I'm gonna press myself up for 10, 9, we're here, 3 reps, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and set it down. Good. First rep of 3, rocking forward, excuse me, pulling up towards the face and rocking back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. One more rep, last one here, rocking forward, pulling up towards the face and rock back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and set it down. Our last finish is to transition from this figure 4 back up into half kneeling. So working our movement, how we got down here, backwards on the other side. So I'm gonna start, we'll demo it, and then we'll jump in. I'm gonna hover this right leg, I'm gonna bend the knee in, okay? Foot comes right in front of that back foot. I'm gonna engage my core, pull myself forward, rock up onto the shin, and then I'm gonna slide that foot back, okay? We're gonna take it together now. Let's get back into that position. Figure 4. I'm gonna hover that foot, place it in front of that back, rock forward, pivot that back foot, and slide into half kneeling position. And that is a wrap on class, y'all. Whew. Give yourselves a pat on the back. That is no joke. That was a flexion extension hip class focus. So if you enjoyed that class, make sure to rate it 5 stars. Give me a comment. Let me know what you want to see. I'm making this app for you guys. So anything that you haven't seen on there yet, you want to see, please let me know. And I'm going to get it up there as soon as I can. Otherwise, have a good day, y'all.